Hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Coin Lady channel. I have a few of questions for you to start with. Here we see the XRP Ledger team making a final departure from the USA. And that's the first. Is it safe to assume that any significant number of XRP developers have left the XRP ecosystem for good? And by the way, when I say developers, I mean those who operate validators, which are vital to the XRP network as a whole. Here's the teaser from the crypto fundamentalists: incentives for XRP Ledger, Ripple validators, CTO response, and so on. And I'll explain everything in fine detail. My fellow YouTuber, Jungle Inc., brought out the possibility of a huge departure of validators from the XRP Ledger, and they are covering that now. Now, if that were to actually occur, it may have disastrous consequences. I really respect the enthusiasm he has shown in spreading his message, and I admire the dedication he has shown to the XRP project, the XRP Ledger environment, and the XRP community as a whole. But from the onset, let me say that I don't share the worries, therefore I'll be pushing back against some of the ideas rather than him as a person. To be crystal clear, please. I should add that I'm open to new information and am willing to admit that I may be incorrect. Sorry, but I just don't see it right now, and I'll tell you why. But if what he's saying is true, all I want is to be convinced so I can join the crowd in acknowledging that, yep, this is a real problem. Please convince me that he is correct so that I can proudly wave my flag and join the bandwagon if this is the case. There are looming issues that could have a disastrous impact on XRP and the XRP Ledger. As if I were interested in such trivia. For this reason, I have always advocated strongly for the dissemination of all relevant information, whether positive or negative, so that people may make up their own minds. But before I go any further, I do want to clarify something. I come from a completely monetary background-free background. Nothing I say or write should be taken as recommendations to purchase or sell any security. Just a hobbyist here that occasionally posts films to YouTube on various crypto-related topics. To begin, I'd like to direct your attention to a post published on the Crypto Basic website and headed Stuart Alderoty says Ripple expanding business in London slams SEC. Because it involves more than just programmers and the XRP Ledger. Is there going to be any XRP Ledger development in the United States? Is the first question I raised at the beginning of this video. Because the stakes are so high for developers in the event of a legal snafu, it would be impossible to continue working in that capacity. Even Ripple has said that if things don't work out, it's possible that the company may simply abandon its U.S. operations. All of their actual commercial expansion, meanwhile, is happening outside the US, as we know. However, Ripple's General Counsel Stuart Alderoty has highlighted the company's expansion intentions in London in this piece. Alderoty said as much in a tweet today in response to a question about SEC Chair Gary Gensler's recent congressional testimony. He was in London with the Ripple team at the time. And now for Stuart Alderoty's full quotation. A quote from his statement: "Missed all the excitement on the Gensler hearing yesterday. At the moment, I'm in London, where I'm meeting with my team to discuss expanding our firm." From across the pond, the SEC seems very incompetent. That is so awesome it's ridiculous. Despite being in the midst of a high-stakes legal battle with the SEC, he has no qualms about telling it like it is. They look fairly dumb and it's sort of freaking embarrassing. Any reasonable person in any part of the world would look at this and wonder, what the heck is wrong with these Americans? For the love of all that is holy, I can see that it is ridiculous. Yes, indeed. It's as foolish as stupid can get. As it turns out, Attorney Deaton retweeted that and added, "If I'm a UK regulator, I'm salivating at the disaster going on in the US and thinking to myself, what an opportunity." That's right. As bad as it is for us in the United States, just think of all the new businesses that will open and the infrastructure that will be built. Developed specifically during the next few years and decades. No matter what, it will occur. The only question is where it will come from. Historically speaking, the United States has been a key source of innovation, particularly in the field of technology. It looks like we'll just have to take a break from this site for a time. Plus, there's this. And to be crystal clear, this is not something that is just happening with XRP and Ripple. It's merely that this is a devastating blow to Ripple and the cryptocurrency industry as a whole, and an all-out assault on Ripple. Take a look at the Crypto Basic Pro XRP attorney Deaton comments on Coinbase's possible US exit from the headline. In a word, yes. Do you know anything about that? Coinbase, the most important Bitcoin exchange in the United States, may be departing. After all this time, we can finally say goodbye to Felicia as a publicly traded corporation. Have a nice day. That's good to hear. And by the way, I have some serious issues with Coinbase, as I believe many others in the community do as well, including the theft of XRP and Songbird tokens belonging to other community members. That's something. Anyway, what you read isn't true. Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong recently revealed that the company may leave the United States owing to the current regulatory uncertainties, prompting pro-XRP attorney John Deaton to respond. Armstrong revealed this information during his presentation at London's FinTech Week. According to a story from Bloomberg today, numerous industry leaders are lamenting the avalanche of unfavorable enforcement measures that have been taken against cryptocurrency firms and the local cryptocurrency industry in the United States. In this context, Armstrong disclosed that the largest cryptocurrency exchange in the United States, Coinbase, may contemplate leaving the nation if regulatory conditions do not improve. We are willing to consider all options, including relocation, if necessary. That was a direct quotation from Armstrong. Lack of regulatory certainty, in Armstrong's view, will prevent the United States from becoming into a major market for cryptocurrencies. He also suggested that within a few years, Coinbase may have to look for investment opportunities outside of the US if clear guidelines for the crypto business are not established in the US. I don't blame whoever brought this up, though. Actually, I'm about to do it. It really irritates me. To what extent they were uninterested in fighting the SEC when it came to XRP a couple of years ago is remarkable. And now, allegedly, they've grown some and are content to simply, supposing they are verbal, content to simply put up a fight. And, to be honest, I have no idea. I get. It's just that you need to be even more invested before you can finally quit giving into the SEC. Despite the occasional aggravation, I've remained in the same job for nearly 2 years. In a very literal sense, nothing has changed. It is the SEC's fault, first and foremost. Even if I know that to be true, the fact that it's frustrating doesn't change that. And, the Coinbase is definitely a victim of the SEC just like everyone else. Simply said, it's annoying. That's clear to me as well. Many of you who are listening are probably thinking the same thing right now. It's frustrating that we, the XRP community, have essentially been abandoned. That's exactly what it is, again. The fact that we were one of the first 2 victims of the SEC and everything else is frustrating. At this point, it appears that Coinbase's only strategy is to fight back. This news was retweeted by attorney John Deaton, who added the following commentary. John Deaton, a prominent lawyer, said this: Coinbase, the largest U.S. exchange, has done everything it can to comply with regulations but is considering leaving the country anyhow. Despite the fact that the SEC approved its first public offering 2 years ago. After 2 years, what's the difference? One unelected official, bang on. That's right, everyone, it's Kim Jong-Gensler. In the past 2 years, what has changed? Look. Take a look at the top dog. I'm not interested in getting political, and there have been others who share my view that this is not the place for it. It will never happen. Only when it directly affects cryptography do I discuss political issues, although I must admit that this is the case. No matter what your political beliefs are. I'm not going to get into the specifics of that again. Ignore it. Not relevant to the content of this channel. However, it is true that the present administration has orchestrated a coordinated campaign by, completely ignoring various federal agencies. This is unlike anything else I've ever seen. Not that I was overjoyed by the prior administration's crypto policies, either. Hell no, I'm not. But this is a whole other ballgame. In no way is this appropriate. It's an unabashed assault on you. After another positive SEC review, Coinbase can finally debut on the stock market. They went public for the first time. A few years have passed. Deaton said that one unelected bureaucrat was responsible for the only meaningful change. There's just one person who can change the SEC's stance to cryptocurrencies, and he's the guy in control. So long. Perhaps the current state of affairs would seem very different if someone else had been put in charge. And look, I'm agreeing with Attorney Deaton. I'm just saying, like, the administration is so anti-crypto that whoever they were going to put in charge would have felt the same, or else they wouldn't have put him in charge, so I'm not convinced that. That's true, you know. Therefore, I will never be a candidate-only voter. However, as it directly affects my future finances, this is a very important problem to me. Once again, significantly. And I realize that I'm speaking to the converted. I know this is a huge deal for you too. So I'm not too concerned about the day-to-day swings in cryptocurrency prices. That is of little interest to me. Concerning me is the imminent destruction of my financial security at the hands of Kim Jong-un and the United States administration. They are doing more harm than good here. To put it bluntly, it burns my biscuits. The title of this article from Cointelegraph tells me all I need to know. Offshore cryptocurrency exchange Coinbase may debut next week after receiving a license in Bermuda. Already, it has arrived. The island of Bermuda was home to FTXs and Coinbase. This is too crazy to be true. It is what it is, and that's fine with me. And this isn't meant to be a Debbie Downer, but rather to highlight the downsides as well. But now we can move on to the last subject. The crypto basics have this as their banner. Proponents have proposed rewarding those who verify transactions on the XRP ledger. This is what I meant when I said at the beginning of the video that my colleague YouTuber Jungle Inc. raised legitimate worries about the possibility of a mass exodus of validators from the XRP ledger, which may have disastrous consequences for all XRP holders. We number in the millions. I don't feel like reading the article, so let's skip it. Let me actually just show you what this piece of Jungle Inc. says. Because I think it's important that this idea be foremost in your mind, I'll repeat it here. In a word, no. Take care, because I'm trying to provide a space where people may openly discuss and challenge one another's ideas. I don't share the same concern, but I can see where he's coming from, so please don't take what I'm about to say as a personal attack on Jungle Inc. It's definitely well-intentioned, and if I'm mistaken, I'd like to hear that as well. To that end, I would appreciate it if you could let me know if you have any proof that causes serious concern for the future of the XRP ledger or anything similar. I haven't seen anything so far that would make me feel that way, so please convince me if you do. So, to get things rolling, Jungle Inc. first tagged Ripple's president, Monica Long, and then tagged David Schwartz. You are familiar with him and his status at Ripple XDev. So, the following was written by Jungle Inc. and posted on the Ripple Twitter account. It appears like we're dealing with a major problem. Developers working independently are retiring their validators. In my opinion, a deluge is brewing in this area. Why is it that we can't afford to build the infrastructure we need? Unless, of course, Ripple is planning to abandon XRP. Why this is being allowed to occur is beyond me. We need help quickly, and it can't be a fast fix, it must be a long-term solution. Who will fill in the gaps at Ripple? Nick, by the way, in terms of Nick, I think he means Nick Buggles, who is no longer affiliated with Ripple for reasons I'm not really clear on. Why rush to Ripple if you're worried about the ecosystem as a whole is beyond me. Ripple. They have been shutting off validators on purpose over the years to increase decentralization, and they have been planning to do so for quite some time. Therefore, the involvement of Ripple changed as more validators became available. And that's been a very good thing to happen in the long run. So, that makes no sense to me. Even if people are leaving in droves or something dreadful is occurring, it's fine with me to keep talking as long as you can convince me. But if that's the case, then why will we be the ones to cause the initial ripple? Ripple. Turning the other cheek. First of all, let's talk about waves. I don't see us changing course away from XRP anytime soon. Take a look at the storage capacity. Okay. Consider how much value the XRP Ripple carries. I don't see them changing course away from XRP anytime soon. That's just a hunch I have. What they are doing is called juggling. We have money for NFTs and odd projects, but none to keep our infrastructure safe and up to date, they added. This seems wrong, and to back up his worry, he brought up the fact that one validator is the elephant of the XRP community. No, I won't be reading this. If you'd want to take a break and read this, it's on your screen. However, the elephant himself has written this explanation for why he's departing and turning off his validator. So, we have one here and now. However, from what I can see, this person decided to quit due to personal grievances with various members of the XRP community. And if that's the case, I'll just say, okay, maybe that's an outlier instance here, because right now, XRP scam.com is open in your browser and it shows that there are 111 mainnet validators. Validators for lists of unique nodes are predefined 36 in number. One of them is currently unavailable due to unforeseen circumstances. Nonetheless, there are currently 35 users online. But where is everyone leaving? No, it's not available at the moment. But why should I assume that to be the case if it is to exist in the future? That is the question I have. So, I can see where Jungle Link is coming from with his claim. The thing is, I haven't seen anything else that makes me believe, sure, this is impending. It's likely happening right this second. Some developers in the XRP ecosystem will join the validator program, but they will eventually leave, especially if their project fails. That's to be expected, though, right? And the elephant in this case did not suffer that fate. But you see what I'm driving at, right? You elect to take action. If it doesn't work out, you'll have to move on. And that's something that goes away when a developer who couldn't make it work in that ecosystem decides to leave. However, I'm having great results with a wide range of developers. And as I'm filming this, I just showed you which is also visible on your screen. There seems to be no issue here, as far as I can see. Check out this list I'm making of validators. If the rumors are true, then people will be leaving in droves. That's odd. Exactly, that is my current inquiry. Let's put that aside and focus on the idea of asking if more may be done to assure the concept's long-term viability. The possibility of a mass evacuation from the Jungle Inc. territory is a valid topic of discussion at any time. What right does he have to bring up what he said? You know what I mean. But what I mean is, here is a problem, if you will. I'm just wondering if there's a way for us as a community to come up with something, even if he were claiming that the XRP ledger and the entire ecosystem were absolutely fine, but he wanted to have extra protections in place. So, I still think it's important to have that talk. Since the XRP ledger is, happily, fundamentally and critically different from Bitcoin's proof-of-work mining, I can't say what the answer might be to that question. The XRP ledger uses a different type of consensus method, hence this isn't present. Also, the best incentive is no incentive, as David Schwartz, one of the designers, eloquently put it. I'll do my best to remember to add a link to the video I just played for you. It's a little over half an hour lengthy, and I have no intention of playing it. Over the years, I've viewed it multiple times. Date of publication, 2020. And in this video, he was giving a talk at a Stanford blockchain conference, outlining the problems with proof of work and the behaviors it encourages, and contrasting that with an ecosystem devoid of monetary incentives. If you are a validator, you understand that maintaining the validator has a monetary cost. There is no monetary gain, at least not directly. However, if you are participating in the system in some way, as in the case of Ripple, for example, you have an interest to protect the integrity of the XRP ledger. But there's no financial gain involved, therefore there's no conflict of interest with anyone else working to improve the XRP ledger and ecosystem. Therefore, it follows that the absence of incentives is preferable. He then dissects it again in great depth. I'll do my best not to forget to add a link to this video down here, but I probably won't. However, the name of the video is already displayed on your screen in case I have to put it in. You will eventually notice it. And it comes from a financial institution. XRP recommended this video. That's just the way the system works, and I'm sure there are numerous versions floating around somewhere. Now we have Linides, the former head of XP.com. It's a pity that it had to close down, as it was an excellent website. The man spoke out. When the best incentive is nothing at all, that's what you get. From the tone of his voice and his reply, you can get some information. From what I can see, he's not as convinced by David Schwartz's idea as I am. However, I am confident in this assertion because, once more, if you can't have this ecosystem survive, and once more, it's been around for a freaking decade, then there will never be a time when the XRP ledger has seen as much acceptance as there is right now. We're supposed to be scared right now. This is the point at which everything may or may not come crashing down. Alternatively, there may be a significant decline in usage and validators guarding the system at the present time. That's it. I'd like to be convinced otherwise, though. I'm curious to find out if that's the case. Indeed, I do. It's a reasonable discussion, after all. But, however, Twitter user Liquid Bear replied to Leonidas, every time someone valuable leaves, there are voices, which is true. It's time for Ripple to take action. This is how I felt before hearing David give the talk. But should Ripple be included in every aspect of our lives? Must XRP Ledger be the fallback option? Unfortunately, I have my reservations. Near the end of the iconic Toast wallet, Tsunami was furious over this. Similar feelings, however, I can see why Ripple wouldn't want to publicly back a project like this. The only thing that comes to mind for a solution is bounty programs. So far as I'm aware, elephants have similar opinions. Leonidas has now chimed back in, stating that Ripple's participation is unnecessary. UNL validators may be incentivized to operate if a portion of transaction fees were allocated to them. As such, from a technical point of view, he's correct. And I agree with him that it's not even necessary for Ripple to accomplish it. Several minutes earlier, I was making exactly that point. We can't count on Ripple to magically make everything better. I hope that doesn't happen. Yes, monetary incentives will lead to an increase in the targeted behavior. To ensure that, if you are here for the correct reasons. I prefer an ecosystem without such an incentive. And David Schwartz has joined the conversation. But validators wouldn't want other people running fantastic validators since they would be competing with each other for fees, David Schwartz replied to Leonidas. Leonidas gave an answer. From when on? No doubt about it, competition is bad. When it means that people don't want more awesome validators on the network because it damages them financially, even when it improves the network, David Schwartz replied to him in. And I agree with him completely. I wrote back to him, let's not recreate Bitcoin problems here, and included several of the little 100% emoji in my response. Again, I strongly suggest you watch this video. I just redisplayed it on this monitor. I'll do my best to add a link to this in the description. It clocks in at just over an hour. David explains the potential problems with proof of work and the reasons why the XRP ledger was not built with this feature. This is one of the reasons why the XRP network is so quick. Everything imaginable is here. So, structurally speaking, if we can't create an environment where there's true acceptance and actual developers doing actual products, there's no point. Without the financial benefit of being a validator, of course. If we can't have that, then it shouldn't exist, in my opinion. If the XRP ledger is unable to function in that setting, it has no right to exist. And it won't if the whole notion is wrong, which it isn't. However, I do believe the basic idea is sound, and it has been a decade, for crying out loud. This doesn't mean that validators won't come and go or that there won't be new ones introduced. But that's exactly the purpose. New ones will be created. Another factor that could have a detrimental impact on the company's future is the federal government's crackdown on cryptocurrencies in general and Ripple in particular. Do you think the number of US validators and nodes would have been the same if this attack hadn't been directed at Ripple and XRP holders in particular? Okay, fair enough. So, thank you once again for the exchange. You should be aware of this. It's a topic that has to be discussed. At this time, I really can't say that I'm convinced by what was stated by Jungle Inc. But like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I'm glad that people are discussing this and appreciate the genuine passion and care shown. To me, it would be a net positive if we could do something to help protect the long-term health and robustness of the XRP ledger in general, even if it merely gets things rolling in that way and there is no huge exodus. Since the ecosystem has been functioning normally for over a decade with no incentive structure for validators, I have no idea what that might entail. The Ripple validators are now unavailable. I can't seem to grasp it. And I hope you'll tell me what you think. If I'm wrong about this, I'm happy to admit it. In fact, if you can show me actual evidence that suggests, yep, no Moon family sedan, I will scream very loudly. You ought to be considerably more concerned. If you can convince me, I'll be on board in a heartbeat. If you're arguing that point, make it clear. And if not, well, at least we had a conversation about something, and that's still something, at least in my book. For the simple reason that we all have a vested monetary stake in the long-term viability of the XRP ledger. This is the case, then? It's important to note that I am not a professional financial advisor. Nothing I write or say should be used as the basis for a purchase or sale. Please like and subscribe my channel. See you later, bye.